Thank you, Sam Neil. Thank you, Shafu. Thank you, $1 million. Thank you, everyone, for coming today and getting our launch off to such a fantastic start. I also stand here today humble because I've had the privilege of leading our country for close to 6 years and our New Zealand Labour Party for close to 12. In that time I've seen tremendous change. First in our own party, as we worked our way back to government again as mainstream Labour. And then, because we'd returned to our roots and we were true to ourselves, we brought New Zealand great change for the better, restoring hope and confidence in our people for the future. We cannot and we would not want to recreate the New Zealand of the late 1930s through to the 1960s. But our vision is to rebuild the fairness, the opportunity, the security our people knew at that time, and to add to it the dynamism, the energy, the momentum, and the excitement which goes with being a successful nation in the 21st century as we are. The bleak years of lost confidence and uncertainty about New Zealand's viability are now last century's memories. We are well on the way to rebuilding New Zealand as the country of choice to live in because we are prosperous, we're fair, we're inclusive, safe, clean and green, and we have a lifestyle which is the envy of the world. And our emerging 21st century identity as a creative nation, a tolerant nation, a nation of many peoples, a nation with unique culture and heritage, a nuclear-free and a peaceful nation is a national identity which marks us out as a special place and a special people. That's why I'm proud to be a New Zealander, to lead New Zealand and to lead the New Zealand Labour Party, which has made such a contribution over almost 90 years to ensuring that this is indeed, as Richard Seddon once put it, God's own country. I love this country and I've committed my life to it. Like many young New Zealanders, I too enjoyed that great rite of passage, the OE, but I couldn't wait to return home at the end of it. Home is where the heart is, and home is where I wanted to make my contribution. So here I am, Labour Prime Minister of New Zealand for 2 terms and campaigning for a 3rd. Seeking that goal. Because I believe in this country, I believe in the work our government is doing, and I know it is not yet done. I also know that this election is high noon for New Zealand. My opponent represents the last throw of the dice for the people who brought us Rogernomics and euthanasia. Hear, hear. Last throw of the dice. Like Ross, the forces of neoliberalism never slept since power was taken away from them in 1999. They've tried every dirty trick in the book to snatch it back, and they've failed. Re-election of Labour is not only about carrying on the rebuilding of New Zealand we began 6 years ago, it's also about slamming the door shut on the politics of division, fear and exclusion on which our opponents visiting the schools, the health centres, the workplaces, the rest homes and retirement villages, the community halls where our people gather. There is no mood for radical change in our country. But there is a desire to carry on the strengthening of the economy, the job growth, the building of quality services and living standards, and the reduction of crime. All of these things have been at the heart of our government's program, and they will continue to be. I find people don't want the government to do less. As the resources are available, they want us to do more, and we will, because there are things that only governments can do. Providing economic leadership, investing in our common future, ensuring quality public health and education for all, building security for us in our old age and in our homes and on our streets, standing up for the values and interests of our people to the wider world, and bringing us together as a nation, proud of who and what we are, and we're very proud of that. I'm also proud that under Labor, our government's averaged close to 4% growth over 5.5 years. I'm proud that 270,000 more New Zealanders are at work, and our unemployment is the lowest in the Western world today. I'm proud that the number of people living in poverty and on benefits has been slashed. I'm proud that the crime rate is at its lowest in 22 years. I'm proud that economic success has enabled us to do so much more for health and education, families, older New Zealanders, so many others, and so much else. But I also know there's so much more to do. We can't rest on our laurels and say the job is done. It isn't. As fast as we meet today's challenges, those of tomorrow will come. We live in a dynamic, fast-moving world, and we have to be energetic, resilient, nimble and smart to succeed in it as we are. And we have to draw on the talents and the strengths of all the many peoples who make up our land. That means more initiatives to upskill our workforce, promote innovation in our industries, open doors for our exporters around the world. We must see the great emerging economies of China and India not as threats, but as opportunities for our small, smart nation. And essential for New Zealand's ongoing success is our stable, practical, Labor-led government with experienced leadership, running strong budgets, prepared to invest in our common future, and determined to see every New Zealander enjoying opportunity and security. Fundamentally, this election comes down to issues of leadership, credibility, and values. It's about who the people of New Zealand trust to deliver what they say they'll do, and who people trust to fight for New Zealand's interests and values. Over 2 terms in government, Labor set high standards for saying what we will do and doing it. We pioneered pledge cards for our key commitments. We made ourselves accountable and we kept our word. Now, we're making fresh pledges on key policies which will increase opportunity and security. New Zealanders know that our pledges will be honoured. Already I've released 6 of our 7 pledges, each dealing with issues of importance to our country on which Labor will act in our 3rd term. Over 2 terms, we've worked to make tertiary education more affordable. We've frozen fees, then we capped the fees. We made more students eligible for allowances. we've made repayment terms for student loans fairer, and we stopped interest being added to student loans while our students were studying. But still, too many of our young people were ending up with years of interest rate bills which stopped them getting ahead and putting down the firm stake in our society they wanted to put down. Now, after 2 terms of economic success, we can do more, and we will, under Labour. From April next year, graduates with student loans who stay in New Zealand will pay no more interest on their loans. That's our pledge to young New Zealanders and their families. That means our young people can start planning with more certainty for their futures, perhaps about buying their first home earlier, investing in their own business, or starting a family. This policy has brought renewed hope to hundreds of thousands of New Zealanders who could not have dreamed of easily or quickly paying off their loans. This pledge is also an investment in the future of New Zealand, giving our young people every incentive to build their future here at home and give our country the benefit of their great skills and their talent. And skills and talent also feature in our second pledge on apprenticeship training. When it was last in government, the National Party repealed the Apprenticeship Act. The whole economy was the loser from that short-sighted move, and so were young New Zealanders who couldn't get into the trades. All that changed under Labour with our new modern apprenticeship scheme. By the end of the first term, we had 3,000 people enrolled as modern apprentices. Now there are close to 8,000, and we're on track for 9,000 next year. But we're even more ambitious than that. That's why our third pledge promises that by 2008 there will be 5,000 more again modern apprentices, bringing the total up to 14,000. Young New Zealanders and in the future of New Zealand. All New Zealanders have a big stake in the quality of our health services. We never know when we and our family might need them. I'm proud that our government's made doctors' fees more affordable for younger and older New Zealanders. And I'm proud of our plans to roll out cheaper fees for all New Zealanders over the next 2 years. All New Zealanders. That's because we believe in universal health care, even for the leader of the National Party. He apparently believes that he should get it on his 65th birthday, but that it shouldn't be universal for people aged 25 to 64. That's one of many good reasons to reject his narrow vision on 17 September. Universal health care would indeed be gone by lunchtime. Now the time has come to set very specific targets for critical treatments in our public health system. The top priority now is to see that older New Zealanders do not lose their independence because of bottlenecks in elective surgery. That's why in our third pledge, Labour commits to funding many more operations in the next 3 years, 7,500 more cataract operations and 10,000 more major joint operations than were done in the previous 3 years. We know this pledge will bring big improvements and the quality of life for many older New Zealanders. But the quantity of life for superannuitants is important too. That's why Labour reversed National's cuts to superannuation. That's why we set up the New Zealand Superannuation Fund. That's why we're phasing out asset testing on older people in care. Now the time has come to do more for superannuitants with little other income and others on modest incomes to help with an area of significant costs, the local government rates. Pledge number 4 commits Labor to increasing the maximum rates rebate to $500 a year and lifting the eligibility thresholds. Under this pledge, a single superannuitant without other income whose rates exceed $1,000 a year will get the maximum rebate. That's close to a $10 a week increase in income to help pay for the rates. That helps. All New Zealanders yearn to live in communities where crime is not commonplace. Labor has succeeded in getting crime rates down to their lowest level in 22 years. We've introduced longer sentences for serious offenders. We've reduced the availability of bail and parole. And we've been steadily building up the police force. Already, more than 1,150 have been added to police numbers, and this year's budget took the extra police funding to over 1,400. But now it's time to do more for policing in our local communities. Under Labor, our 5th pledge is to add 250 more community police over the next 2 financial years, doubling the number of community police who work actively in our neighbourhoods to tackle crime and create safer communities. That's a big priority for Labor. Our government is known for our commitment to building a strong nation which respects and values all its people. We've worked to promote tolerance and understanding between all who make up our nation. Moving forward as one nation committed to each other means reconciling with our past. Like governments which have gone before us, we've got on with historical treaty settlements so that the wrongs of the past can be put right. The time has come to set deadlines for resolving those historical injustices so that our nation can move forward together. That's in the interests of Māori and of New Zealand as a whole. Where historical settlements have already occurred, they have given Māori a significant stake in their regions. And we see whole regions benefiting from the investments Māori are making in economic and social development. The Hui Taumata this year showed an impetus for Māori development which is unstoppable, and it is of great benefit to our country. To complete the process of reconciliation with the past, our 6th pledge says that all historical claims must be lodged by 1 September 2008, and we commit to finishing settlements by 2020. That is a realistic target for completing a process which is complex and where justice must be done to both sides and will be done under a Labor government. Today, I'm announcing what the final pledge on the pledge card is. It relates to the desire of New Zealanders to put down a stake in our society if they possibly can through home ownership. Nationals leader, more used to playing the money markets than leading a country, has suggested that it's better to rent than to own your own home. That's a hard sell to Kiwis. Owning our own homes has long been central to the Kiwi dream. And Labor governments over the years have done a lot to make that possible. Now the time has come to do more. Labor's pledge is to help those who take up the new Kiwi Saver scheme with a grant for their first home deposit. A couple who've saved in the scheme for 5 years will get a $10,000 grant for their deposit because Labor believes in Kiwis having a chance to own their own homes. told on Friday, and young New Zealanders' hopes of home ownership would be gone by lunchtime. In the $1.3 billion of cuts to public spending to finance tax cuts, which they committed to on Friday, KiwiSaver was specifically identified as a program they would slash. They're keeping quiet about the rest. I think New Zealanders would rather slash National. Of course, our pledges are not our whole manifesto. Labour is not a one-show pony. We have hundreds of new policy ideas in other areas for the third term. From ACC to the equality of women, from the environment to broadcasting and arts and culture, to biosecurity and conservation, to transport, telecommunications, tourism, Labour has ideas and initiatives which will make real differences to people's lives and take New Zealand ahead. Because all of these issues are important, as is the balance we strike between them. If we use our resources unsustainably, we ruin our environment for future generations. If we really want to be part of the 21st century, we have to make sure that high-speed broadband rolls out right across New Zealand. If we want dynamic first-world cities, people and goods have to be able to move through them with ease. We now have to follow through our low unemployment rates with a commitment to the upskilling and productivity improvements which will underpin higher wages in the future. And it's no use having higher average incomes if our families are still struggling to bring up children. That's why last week our government announced plans for major tax relief for New Zealand families. We said there's no more important task in our country than raising the next generation of New Zealanders. We're proud of that. We said that the decision to have children should not condemn our families to years of penny pinching. We said the top priority for tax relief right now is our hard-working families. We said that made much more sense than spreading the extra money available across all taxpayers to the tune of $3 to $4 a week. And it does, and we will keep our word to those families. We said that what should be uppermost in our minds is what is the fair thing to do right now. Is it fair to give the same tax cut to a single person on $60,000 with no dependents as goes to a family where maybe 5 people are living on that single income? I don't think so. There's another thing that makes no sense either, and that's slashing public services and borrowing for massive tax cuts. All New Zealanders would be the losers, as health and education were cut and as mortgage interest rates increased. And let's not kid ourselves. National is not offering tax cuts because it's seriously concerned about trying to improve living standards for hard-working New Zealanders. They are offering to squander billions of dollars on tax cuts because fundamentally they believe that the only good government is small government. Their agenda is to reduce the size of the revenue base so that there is no option but to cut services. That's called a strategic deficit. That's the new right agenda, and it is fundamentally damaging to our country. New Zealand has been down that road before. Those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Yesterday, at the wonderful service celebrating the life of the late David Longy, many recalled his courage in leading New Zealand to be nuclear-free. David had followed in the footsteps of Walter Nash and Norman Kirk in making nuclear disarmament a top priority for New Zealand's foreign policy. And how proud we were as New Zealanders when the big man with the big voice articulated our vision for a nuclear-free world on the international stage. That stand David took is as relevant today as it was 2 decades ago, and I pay tribute to him for what he did to make us nuclear-free. I make a commitment to New Zealanders too. As long as I'm Prime Minister, our nuclear-free stance won't be gone by lunchtime or any other time either. I believe in it, and I'll protect it, and I'll promote it. It was also in David's time as Prime Minister that New Zealand began to become more active in international peacekeeping. Our multicultural defence force is very good at it, and our people have been able to work alongside communities in many troubled nations, from East Timor and the Pacific, all the way to the Middle East, Europe and Africa. I'm proud of the work New Zealanders have done as peace builders, just as I'm proud that we stuck to our principles on the war in Iraq. I'd make the same decision again today. The National Party said we should have gone to war and won't rule out committing combat troops to Iraq in the future. And strangers still, they don't want to continue to deploy peacekeepers widely. That says it all. To refuse to build peace while wanting to rush off to war, that's not the New Zealand way, and it's not the Labour way. In the end, this election comes down to a fundamental choice about the direction our country takes. Under Labour, we're rebuilding economic strength, getting Kiwis back to work, committing to the level of services and infrastructure our people deserve. We're making up for years of underinvestment in the common good. Under Labour, we've kept our country clean and green and brought many new areas into parks and reserves for all our people to enjoy. Under Labour, we've supported our creative people, our filmmakers, our musicians, our dance and theatre, our artists and designers, our writers. Through their talent, New Zealand is presenting a new and exciting face to the world. That helps brand our country as one worth travelling to, studying in, living in, buying from, investing in. Our creative side is an indispensable part of our 21st century identity, and I'm proud of uniquely creative New Zealand. Under Labour, New Zealand is known as a nation which thinks for itself and works with others in the common interests of humankind. Under Labour, every hard-working, law-abiding citizen is mainstream, respected and valued for their contribution. Every single one. Our nation, with its many peoples and faiths, drawn from the Pacific, Asia, Europe, Africa, around the world, can be a model to others of how to work together. Our vision is for our small country to be a beacon of light pointing to a future where all the talents are drawn on to build a strong nation, a cohesive nation, a peaceful nation, truly a sanctuary in today's troubled world. The alternative sets Kiwis against each other, runs down our public services, sees many people struggling, and has no all-embracing vision for what we can achieve as New Zealanders, working together and moving forward together. I'm optimistic about this election. I'm not complacent. We have work to do. There are still many people to enrol, and there is a month's hard campaigning to go. But I believe we have it within us to make history this time and lock in the gains New Zealand's already made on the label. I want to thank those other parties who's worked with us in Parliament and enabled us to offer strong, stable government. Jim Anderton's Progressives have been a very loyal coalition partner. United Future has never wavered on its commitment to guarantee confidence in supply. The establishment of the Families Commission, advocating for the needs of our families, has been a highlight of our relationship with United Future. Strangely enough, the Commission seems to be on National's list for spending cuts too. Our working relationship with the Green Party has been a good one, and I know it will continue. I thank my own team, our caucus members and our cabinet colleagues who worked tirelessly, and our party membership and council who have sustained us throughout. And above all, I want to thank Michael Cullen, who as Finance Minister and my deputy has been a tower of strength and made an immeasurable contribution. Our job now is to campaign for a strong party vote for Labour so that we can continue to lead the government. And given that honour again, we will be pleased to work with the parties which have formed strong relationships with us over the past 2 terms of government. That's what MMP requires, not autocratic doctrinaire leadership, but leadership which consults, leadership which listens, includes, and then decides and acts. That's the kind of leadership I offer. Leadership which has developed over 24 years in Parliament and 6 years as Prime Minister. And it's that experience I put once again before the people of New Zealand on 17 September. Over the next 4 weeks, I'll be out on the road, as I've been for so many years, listening to and responding to New Zealanders. I expect all our team to do the same. We are not a born-to-rule party. We govern because we've built a reputation for being people who get results for New Zealand and because we keep our word. Given the opportunity to serve again, I believe we can do even better. Even better. Because I know we have the energy, we have the drive, the commitment, the passion, the vision, the people, the talent to build a strong nation and to keep New Zealand moving ahead in a way that's fair to all. That's what I offer. That's what Labour offers, and with your support, that's what New Zealand will vote for on 17 September, so that our nation